prince lives here. We got 10,000 lakes. But wait, the women are beautiful. To me they are. And we're not infested with pretentious movie stars. And it hit me, Minnesota is dope. If only simply for not what we have, but what we don't.
Welcome to 10 Minutes. I'm Tony Scott, joined in studio today with Mr. 0-3-1 on the Pick'ems, Peter Rodney.
I'm going to take that 0-3-1 to my grave. But thanks for having me, Tony.
All right, we're going to knock out a lot of hockey here. We're going squirts, peewees, bantams, girls high school, boys high school, a couple new segments.
Let's kick it up a notch, folks.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, Little Falls. TJ Madison was in Little Falls for the Little Falls tournament. Saw the Squirt B and Squirt A championship games. One was a snoozer, and one went all the way to the wire. The Squirt A's, Spring Lake Park wins that one. And then kind of a crazy, I've never seen this before, where in a 5-person shootout, the losing team scored twice. The winning team didn't score twice in the first two, and then went 3 for 3, and the other team went 0 for 3. And they won it.
It's like a seesaw.
Yeah, it was incredible. So congratulations to Spring Lake Park and Litchfield Asco Cato for winning tournaments in the Exchange Arena.
The Exchange Arena.
At Little Falls. So hats off to them. A lot more squirt action headed our way this week, especially in district play.
As the season ramps up, as do the squirts.
That's right. All right, Pee-wees, I'm going to let you take it from here. Pee-wees and Bantams, you were in the Duluth. You saw 3 days of the Spirit Duluth. Tell me what you saw.
Well, I trekked up 35 north, and I took in a lot of Pee-wees and a lot of Bantam action. For Pee-wees, Spirit of Duluth, Osseo Maple Grove. An overtime win over Edina.
Who you picked.
Who I picked.
And Edina slaughtered the team I picked. Hermantown, 9-4, 9-3?
9-3. I will say I think that game was a bit of an outlier. Jimmy Clark scored 6 goals.
Yeah, I
don't think that happens again. Sorry,
I saw
Jimmy.
that. I saw that. That's an amazing run.
But Osseo Maple Grove, Danny Nelson with the game winner in overtime. Very cool to see. Bantam-wise, Minnetonka.
Minnetonka wins, but I thought the other surprise was Hermantown beating Edina and winning that pool and then winning their way into the championship game too. Two teams really, that stands out to me as those two teams in the finals is kind of when you had Cloquet, White Bear, EP, Centennial. Those teams, none of those made it to the finals. That's more impressive.
You could have watched some of those consolation games and you would have seen just as good competition, maybe even more so because Minnetonka skates away with a 7-1 win over Hermantown.
Family friend Blake Anderson notches 2 goals.
He had a couple of goals.
Did Hunter Newhouse
Hunter Newhouse had 2, and Joe Brink also had 2 for the Skippers.
That's a pretty impressive group. I mean, now they've made it. They earned their way into the YHH top 10. I mean, we couldn't keep them out.
We can't.
You could not keep them out.
The Skippers are skipping their way down rankings lane.
And they've won 6 of the last 7, so it's a good squad.
It's a hot streak. The lone goal for Hermantown was Joey Pierce, who I think finished with 79 goals on the weekend.
Yeah, at least. We aren't surprised by that.
No.
One of the first players ever who's gone from high school varsity to Bantam. Just think about that. That's a rarity.
He seems to be doing fine with the transition.
I think he's doing just fine. Okay, girls hockey, Proctor, Hermantown. You were in Hermantown on Friday night?
I was. I saw several Proctor Hermantown Mirage, I believe youth members. They were wearing the sweatshirts.
Yep.
Running around the arena.
Well, they had a tournament there as well.
They did.
And their 12As and their 15As won it.
That sounds about right.
I wonder if 15As used used the breakout play at all.
Oh, the Barry Bonds home run down the middle of the ice.
I'm sure they did.
Yep. They're number 1 in the rankings, 13-0.
In the computerized rankings, I still think Edina, as the chief ranker for 15s, is the better team. But
I wouldn't argue.
We'll find out. Sooner or later, they'll face off. All right. Speaking of girls, let's switch to girls high school. Neither one of us got our pick right, but neither one of us got it wrong. I picked Elk River, and you picked Blaine, and they tied.
They ended up tied.
Let's talk a little bit about a team. Let's go a little bit away from Blake and Edina. Seems like that's all we talk about for girls hockey in the segment.
That's fair.
What's a team that popped into your girls hockey rankings this week that might not be on the Hub's rankings or anyone else's rankings that you think, hey, this might be a sleeper team?
Interestingly enough, Tony, the Hub did not have Egan in their top 10. But Egan climbs all the way to number 6
in our poll.
Well,
I think it's a good pick. They have a D1 commit.
They do. Taylor Anderson, she's a senior. She's got 7 goals, 17 points so far.
And 3 years ago, we had the Pee Wee Challenge, and there's a host of those that are now 10th graders. Bella Weber and Barger.
Both Bargers.
Both Bargers, but they have a really good set of talent base at the 10th grade level. They have senior leadership. I think this is a team, their only loss is to Centennial.
Right, by 1 goal.
And they have a win over
Maple Grove and a win over Lakeville South.
Yeah.
Two state tournament perennials.
So I think this is a team, careful of Egan. Don't sleep on Egan.
3 players with 12 or more points. So they've got balance, they've got depth, they've got senior leadership, they've got young talent. Keep an eye on the Wildcats.
That's a team you or I will have to go out and see in person soon.
Yeah, I like the drive to Egan.
So now let's flip the switch, go over to high school boys. We have a high school hockey podcast. We talk for an hour about everything. So when it comes to our show on Wednesdays,
I listen to it for an hour.
It's literally we're out of content, right? So I want to talk about high school boys today. I want to just make an observation about the trio of Duluth teams. Hermantown, I know it's not in Duluth, but it's close enough. And Cloquet is not in Duluth, but close enough. And obviously Duluth East. They have a really cool or goofy travel schedule. Friday and Saturday, Hermantown, they basically flip the switch. Hermantown's in town, and Duluth East is down at White Bear. And then on Saturday, Hermantown goes down to Lakeville and plays and wins. And then
Duluth East comes back to play Wayzata.
Just like 2 ships passing a night. And then you have Cloquet, who's played 2 weeknight games in the Twin Cities already. There's a lot of travel. And you know who else travels a lot is Moorhead. Someone had tweeted out 3,000 miles they're going to put on their bus this year.
But you know what? Those 3,000 miles are going to come in handy when you have to start playing some of these teams in postseason play that might be farther away. So their legs will be bus tested and battle tested with all of these games that are so far away.
I agree. So these teams are for these northern teams to get games.
And once you get the cycle of bus, rink, once you get that down, it becomes almost automatic, and you can avoid the fatigue that comes along with it.
I agree. All right, so last week we brought out 3 new features. We had our question of the week, our tweet of the week, and our shocker of the week. We have 2 shockers this week. Okay, so let's start off with our question. Okay, we have favorite potato chip. Is this week's question. Peter, what's your favorite potato chip?
I'm going to go with the rare extra Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are gross.
I like to put them on those Totino's party pizzas and then microwave them and turn it into a pizza Cheeto burrito.
Gross. We might have to delete this section. It's so gross.
Try it.
All right, I got 2. I like the your standard potato chips you can probably get anywhere. It's the lime Tostito.
The lime Tostito.
Hint of lime Tostito. That's really good.
Scoop or tortilla?
Not the scoop, just the straight up lime Tostito. And then the chip you can't get anywhere except maybe in the vending machine at the Bloomington Ice Garden. What are they called? Salsitas.
Those are good.
It's really good. Just a really dangerous chip.
Those would also probably be good wrapped up in a Totino's party pizza.
I don't even know what you're talking about at this point.
No one else does either.
You're such a millennial. We just eat our chips, and keep our chips and our pizzas separate.
You got to be versatile. You got to be able to do it all. Get you a chip that can do both.
All right, so we hunted down a tweet of the week. There's lots of good ones. We see lots of them. Some of them are tweeted at us. Some we just see in our feed. I like this one. It came in like last night, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty recent.
Edina Bantam B. White beats Minnetonka. And we don't just get a standard Bantam B. White tweet out of it. We get a picture of Ric Flair flexing his muscles and saying Rick is proud to be from Edina today. And
doing it with a little flair.
Vaunted Minnetonka team who defeated them handily in the championship game of the Gobbler.
The gloves are off.
Congratulations to B1. All right, what's the shocker? What are the 2 shockers this week? I think they're both about the same. One of them, my eyes popped out of my head late Saturday night as I was kind of wrapping up the computer. And I was like, what?
And I think that you and I have different views on both of these shockers because my shocker is Eastview Hill Murray. And it's not so much that Eastview beat Hill Murray. They're a pretty solid team.
For sure.
But the fact that the score was 5-1, if the score had been 2-1 or 1-0.
Not a shocker. That wouldn't have been a shocker.
I would have said okay. But 5-1, I did not expect a 5-goal outburst from the Lightning.
All right. And then the other one is Cretin beats perennial power Eden Prairie.
And I'm not particularly surprised at this one.
Really? Are you down on Eden Prairie or are you super high on Cretin?
I'm not down on Eden Prairie, but I think that Cretin has more kids that have been together longer. And they may have developed a chemistry that Eden Prairie hasn't quite figured out yet. Trust me, Eden Prairie will be fine. But I'm not really surprised by a loss to Cretin.
Was that kind of a we're fine Casey Middlestat? Aaron Rodgers?
ELAX.
That was Aaron Rodgers and Casey Middlestat, which both proved okay. Mm-hmm. I think Eden Prairie is going to be fine too. They're hosting an event over at the community center this weekend where they got they'll face two northern teams, Hermantown and Brainerd. If they can win those two games, I will be definitely back on their bandwagon as well. All right, so we got our shockers out of the way. We mentioned a couple predictions in there. You went 0-3-1. Your one draw was I didn't do much better. I only got one more right. I went 1-2-1. Our draw was the Blaine Elk River Girls. Mm-hmm. The only one I got right was my boys Hermantown.
And you took Wayzata.
Take down Wayzata, and Wayzata won that game.
They did.
So we're good to go. So a couple more picks here. We have 5 picks today. We kind of go all over the board. We'll start with our tournament that we're hosting this weekend in Stillwater, the Lumberjack Cup. Double A's. Can I just guess who you're going to pick? Because you love this team. You love this team.
I do.
Woodbury Predators.
Yeah, I'm going to take Woodbury.
You love those guys. You love that team.
I do.
If they let you down this weekend, will you maybe... No? It won't matter. Mm-mm. It's all the way, all year long. This is your squad.
All year long. I'm saying it right now.
All right. Osseo Maple Grove is who I'm taking. They won the Spirit of Duluth. They're going to win the Lumberjack Cup. They'll be hoisting the coolest trophy ever off the ice.
And their coaches won't ever have to worry about being cold because they have these very cool shearling line jackets. These plaid jackets. Lumberjack Cup, plaid jacket.
They look more like shirts than jackets.
They're jackets.
Okay, jackets, shirts.
If they're
very trendy.
Lined,
very trendy, jackets. Though, right?
Very hip.
Yeah, it's called the Maple Grove coaching staff hip.
Hip.
And well-educated.
Hip to the jive.
All right, next. Over on the A side, I'm going to take the host.
Okay.
The Stillwaters beat a lot of good teams. That's a special squad. This is a team that I think can win the whole state, the Stillwater.
Oh, wow.
So what do you got?
I'm going to take Osseo Maple Grove. I don't know if their coaches have the same cool jackets.
No doubt. These guys would not fall into the cool category.
But I think that there's enough talent on that team where they can make.
Are we talking talent? Or are we talking coaches? Dress code.
We're talking both, and I think that the talent
chance.
Outweighs the subpar dress code of the OMGA Peewees.
All right, I agree with that. It's a good squad. All right, moving on to girls' high school. We picked the Proctor Hermantown, who we seem to be just in love with, apparently, and Red Wing. They face off on Saturday. Who do you like in that game?
Frankly, I like Red Wing in this game. I think Taylor Heisey, she's got 14 goals in 7 games so far. She's been darn near unstoppable, even for a Proctor Hermantown team, which has played some really, really tough teams.
I'm going with Proctor Hermantown.
That's fair.
All right. Now we have 2 high school boys games we want to go after. Okay, 1 AA and 1A. Starting in the AA, it's a District 10 matchup. Centennial
Northwest Suburban Conference.
I know. I always like saying it because there's youth days. Centennial and Elk River. Who do you like in this one?
I'm going to take Elk River.
Okay.
They're big. They've got depth. 12 players with at least 1 point.
If you listen to our high school hockey podcast, you would know by now that I love Centennial. So this was an easy one for me. I think Centennial is one of the best teams in the state. Could be a state champion this year. I'm going Centennial.
This is definitely a coin flip.
Yeah.
Each team has got 5 or 6 guys that can make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be a fun game to watch. And then we'll go flip the switch back to Greenway. Greenway just hosting some great games this year. They're hosting East Grand Forks this weekend. Mm-hmm. Now, East Grand, that's a long drive.
That is a long drive.
And that's why I'm going with the home team. I think it's a flip of a coin on talent-wise, but I think the fact that East Grand's got to get in the bus and drive basically across the entire state to get to Hermantown, I'm going to go with Greenway.
I'm okay with that. I'm going to take East Grand, though, because throughout the youth levels, East Grand is one of those associations that does play some faraway games. So remember, bus tested, battle tested, take East Grand Forks in this one.
Okay, so the other reason is when they played Orono and Delano over Thanksgiving on the road, that doesn't shake out. They did very poorly on the road. They come home and they beat St. Cloud Cathedral. So which East Grand Forks team is it going to be? The
good
one
one
that lost to Orono or the one that beat St. Cloud Cathedral? Well, arguably,
it's going to be the good one.
One of the top 3 teams in the state. They were good against one week and bad the next week. So
it's
or bad
be the
and then
good.
good.
East Grand's going to take this one.
Okay, well, if it's the St. Cloud Cathedral's East Grand, yeah, I agree with you. All right, a special segment on our show this week. It's called the Boom Freeze Zone.
You are now entering the Boom Freeze Zone.
There is
Tony
no
Scott.
Boom Roasted this week. You couldn't come up with one?
I don't know.
I racked my brain for like a half an hour. I had a couple, we had a couple mini ones about parents and Twitter and stuff like that. But for the most part, no one really earned themselves a true Boom Roasted from us this week.
I mean, the Wi-Fi was great all weekend. The coffee was great all weekend. The parents were fine for me all weekend. I had a lot of nice conversations.
And I think the coverage from our team was great all weekend, too.
It was great all
over
weekend.
the place. It's nice having a guy up in Duluth for Spirit of Duluth. I got to Cloquet and Jefferson. I got to the Sandwich Project. I got to the Edina Roseau game. We had guys all over. We had a podcast. It was fun. Really,
no days off.
No days off for us now. From here until Christmas. All right. Game pucks. I'll go first. My game puck goes out to the 38 teams that showed up Saturday in Edina to make sandwiches. We made 6,000 sandwiches and raised almost $1,000 for the Sandwich Project. That was teams from all levels. And we had little tiny mites. We had 15A girls, Bantams, you name it. They were from all over the place. It was fun to see such a variety of different teams and come into the church and make some sandwiches. How about you?
Always a good cause. My game puck is going to go to Blake Sr., Jackson Saunders, who scored the first boys' goal to light the Art Saunders scoreboard at the newly renovated Blake Ice Arena. Art Saunders is Jackson's uncle, who unfortunately passed away in 2012 after a 3-year battle with brain cancer. So for Jackson to score a couple of goals and help christen the new arena, that was pretty cool to see.
How is the new rink?
It's a lot nicer than when I played there. Let's throw that out there. There's new
100% nicer, I'm guessing.
About 1,000% nicer. New scoreboard, new hallway for the locker rooms. The locker rooms have been renovated. They are no longer wooden cubbies with no seats for everybody. They also have a walkway up top where people can hang over the railing and watch the game. More seating, better locker rooms, better lighting, better scoreboard, and a better Blake team.
Oh, much better.
Keep an eye on the Bears.
Well, great show. I don't know if we got in at the 10-minute mark or not, but we'll do our best each week to get it all in, but also get you guys a lot of information. For Peter Rodney, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for tuning in to today's show.
And if you ain't gonna leave, cause this is where you're from, say, St. Cloud.